Hey everyone,
Woo!
happy Thursday. Woohoo!
Happy something else. Happy 47th.
Thank you. Oh, girl, cheers, cheers.
Happy birthday, my work wife.
Thank you, darling.
How does it feel to be a year younger? We'll just say it that way.
I like that.
One day older.
It was funny. My husband asked me this morning. I'm like, and I loved it because I totally like channeled your mom. I was like, well, what is 47 supposed to feel like? You know, I feel just as good as I feel today.
Exactly. It's just a new day with a new number. That's all it is.
I know, but I gotta say, I'm loving my 40s. So
yes,
super excited to be sharing my birthday with all of you this morning. Thank you so much for joining us for the Morning Cup, another amazing show with my beautiful work wife, Ms. Barbara Brooks, and myself, Guadalupe Hurt. Super excited to be bringing to you awesome news about women over 40 and 50 that reminds us how fantastic and awesome we are. So let's dive in. Our story today is all about the act of, wait for it, swiveling.
swiveling.
Thank you to our amazing Ms. Bonnie Schutz for that fantastic term that she shared with us on an insider call just a few weeks back.
But well, and you know, it was when we were the SARS, we were like, there's got to be another term for pivoting when we were having cocktails with all of our insiders. And so Bonnie, our little quick-witted woman, immediately turned to the SARS and said, it named a couple and said swivel. And we were all like, that's it. Swivel. Thank you, Bonnie.
Gotta love alliteration, right? So that's always a cool thing, right? The second act swivel. But we're going to talk a little later about BizLifeCon and how we are incorporating this term into this next phase, this next act that we are all walking into. So stay tuned because here's a fun little fact. Did you know that swivel is both a noun and a verb? So it's basically a device joining two parts so that one or both can pivot freely, or it's the act of swinging or turning on or off as if on a swivel. So we are going to be incorporating both the noun and the verb into our BizLifeCon, so we're super excited to have you along for that conversation. And I am also thrilled to be having some amazing women, Charlotte Japp from CIRKEL. She is the founder of this amazing organization out of New York City that's all about jumpstarting fantastic conversations between women and men of different generations. So we are going to have her and two other amazing ladies that went on to CIRKEL and met, but would have never probably have met had it not been through CIRKEL. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, so excited. So let's just jump into
Jump in.
Trending stories and hacks. Okay, this is the segment where we go through a fun little fact, things that are happening around our world, and all that fun stuff. So as Lupe said, so what we're going to talk about real briefly is we're excited that BizLifeCon is back.
Yay! High five.
Right? We are not letting a little stay-at-home order stop us from producing virtually, digitally, that sort of thing, a really lively event for you to enjoy from your couch. We want you to be able to cast this special event from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Friday, July 17th. And let me tell you, we have a lot going on that day. We're just so excited. And first, we want to give a shout out to Julie Duro, who is with Meta Media.
Yes, we love
Julie. Our virtual stage manager. She's basically a video production company and is working with us to create, and a second actor, and to create a really wonderful, lively event. As I said, it is packed with 3.0 style business, lifestyle, and career micro sessions. So let me tell you what we have in store for you today. We are bringing back, or I should say July 17th for BizLifeCon. We are bringing back the amazingly funny Debbie Shear, right? You can't go wrong with Miss Debbie Shear.
I cannot. She's amazing.
Right? Open up with breakfast with Debbie Shear, myself, and Lupe, and the rest of your Second Act sisters. We're going to provide you with a light little recipe from one of our ladies so that you can sit back and enjoy a breakfast and a little comedy with Debbie Shear. Then we're going to open with Barbara Waxman. I'm so excited about her because Lupe, she's someone that you found, and then I have since learned that a lot of women know who she is, and I'm really thrilled to have her. Tell them about Barbara Waxman. I love the term that she.
Oh my gosh, she is a psychotherapist, a gerontologist, a speaker, author on the beautiful life stage of middlescence. So just like adolescence, where we find ourselves right now, ladies, is middlescence. And so she is going to be kicking off BizLifeCon for us, educating a little bit about the fact of, what it is to thrive and live in middlescence and be, your whole self. And what does that look like? So I'm really excited because I don't know about you guys, but I'm totally digging being in my 40s, 50s, like right now. Like it's a beautiful life stage.
It's a beautiful thing. It really is. I feel better than ever, which we'll announce what that means a little later. We also have lined up, we have Amy Cosper, who is a Coloradan, and I have I just love this woman. I met her 2 years ago. I've mentioned her before, and we have a Facebook Messenger friendship going on. And I find that she is so entertaining and so funny, and I love her. I'm a big fan of hers, and she is the former editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine. Most importantly, though, she is a storyteller, a writer, and a national speaker or a global speaker. So we're excited to have her close the conference. But in between all of that, we have Denver Film, who will be presenting a session. And we can't tell you all about that just yet, but we're so excited to have Women Plus Film. They were supposed to do a film festival back in April, and we were partners with them, with other really wonderful companies from around Colorado. However, with what happened, that festival did not take place, but that didn't stop them either. And so they are producing several different events and activities online. Well, we're so thrilled that the folks over at Denver Film reached out to us, and we're going to have them a part of BizLifeCon. We also have How to Launch Your YouTube Channel with Olivia Omega, brand strategist and YouTuber herself. For those of you that have side hustles, or you're in marketing at your companies, or you are a business owner and you need to boost your fans and the people that are following you on Instagram, we have a fabulous Instagrammer who has YL Crafts. She is a crocheter, if that is a word. And the beauty of it is she went from having 0 people on Instagram, and within a very short amount of time, she has nearly 90,000.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We're so excited to have Tony Lipsy out of Columbus, Ohio, share with you how you too, including us at SecondActWomen, can grow our YouTube. By the way, Instagram. She also has a YouTube channel with over 100,000. She is a badass. So we're also going, for those of you that are looking to swivel careers, we know it can be difficult at our age, sadly, which is why we're all here, is to fight that. We're going to have a panel of 3 really wonderful hiring managers and recruiters from around the area, one in which is from Amazon Web Services, Megan Joe. So we are so excited to really cover business, career, and life. And Lupe, you're even doing a session on owning your value. We talk about how we as women over 40, 50, and 60, we know our value. A lot of us know our value. However, we haven't stepped into owning it, confidently owning our value, whether it comes to negotiating that salary that you deserve because you bring so much value to that job, or owning your number, which is valuable in itself, because with our number comes wisdom, comes experience, and so much more. So we're going to talk about negotiating, right? It's
I'm like inspired already by hearing. I'm like, mic drop, like done, not done, like that. it was worth showing up for, ladies. Like, wow, we're going to be, I mean, and the beautiful thing is that we're bringing in such an amazing community of experts and second actors to help support this and make this conference truly yours. So step in and join us. That'd be
and we also have a special.
Sorry,
I stepped on you. We have a special, so you can save $10 off of your $54 ticket through the end of this month. It's save 10, capital all caps, save and the number 10 to save $10. We have 3 package offers. So you'll go, if you go into SecondActWomen.com, you will see and click on BizLifeCon all the package offers. We even have a bundled package so that you can actually become a founding member of the Insiders Club, where we provide even more deep dives, master classes, courses, workshops, longer length programs for our women that are a part of the Insiders. And we have over 143 that are insiders. So you can buy a ticket, right? You can buy a ticket to BizLifeCon, and on top of that, get our new graphic tee. And it is, by the way, the Insiders. I'm so excited. Voted on. We had several different hashtags. All right, so those of you that have been with us for a while, you know that we are all about a really great graphic tee. By the way, I love a graphic tee. More joy. Thanks, Old Navy, for my $5 t-shirt. More joy.
You're well, darling.
Right? I love a good graphic tee, especially when it has a really poignant message. So last year, or when you join the Insiders, by the way, you always will get a hashtag ageless graphic tee. But the graphic tee, when you buy the second package of BizLifeCon or the third package, which is the BizLifeCon Fund, I know, it's hashtag better than ever. That is our graphic tee. And I can't remember off the life of me who, it was Chris Weddingberg with Be Good to People, the company. She's the one who threw that out there. And then Jennifer Wild and everybody was like, that's it. So it was that, and fearless or timeless and better than ever is really how we feel.
Yes. And I love that, because I think now, especially with kind of everything going on, it's truly an opportunity for you to own your awesomeness and just move on it. 2020 is throwing us some curveballs, but girls or ladies, we are in this to win. So
we're going to be, and with all of us, the sisterhood that we've created, and leading into that, let's talk about CIRKEL. So our guest today, CIRKEL, by the way, if you want to, you can Google it as we're talking. It is CIR, K as in kite, EL, CIRKEL. And they have such a wonderful organization. Lupe, before I introduce our Dr. Leslie Fairstein and Kate and Sharp, tell them a little bit about CIRKEL again.
So thank you. A big shout out to the ladies at Fancy, Miss Katie Keating and Erica.
Thank you.
Yes, they introduced us to Miss Charlotte. And after having the opportunity to read what's on her website, we were like, we got to talk to this amazing woman. What she is doing in very simplistic terms, and we will allow her to give us, an overview of it when she's on with us, but is basically the idea of taking something so simple as a conversation and using a conversation to build bridges between generations that otherwise probably would never have connected or met, or even would have, come cross paths together. And so I love the idea that conversation can kind of recreate bridges to communications, to learning about other generations, to understanding everybody's value. And so what she does is she literally, you fill out kind of like a form. I've already done this. And I'm excited to connect with my match, but she then goes out, or her system goes out and matches people according to interests that might have a potential connection. And then it's on us to kind of get together, have a conversation, and then see where things go. And so it literally all starts from just this idea of a willingness to show up and get to know each other. Love that.
I love it. And so I want to introduce to you Dr. 4-pounder. Of course, she has to start breaking out.
Let's go for the intro on Charlotte first, to kind of get her on and kind of talk through what CIRKEL is, and then we'll bring in the ladies.
Yes.
proof
Go for it. Go for it.
that what Circle is trying to accomplish is amazing. So let's bring Miss Charlotte Japp on. Hello, Charlotte. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're super excited. You have
Excited.
community already. I got to tell you, girl, when we posted that we were going to be hosting you, they're like, we love Charlotte. We love her organization. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Cheers.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
Cheers.
Awesome.
From Colorado to New York City.
Yes.
Love it. Well, let me give the ladies and men, because we now are on LinkedIn too, that are
That's right.
a little bit about who you are. So let me just read a little snapshot. So Charlotte is the founder of CIRKEL, an intergenerational platform founded to close the connection loop between generations through events in different cities, now online as well as a membership called Circle Up, which curates monthly one-on-one introductions across generations. Joining us from New York City, we're so thrilled to have you.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's jump in. So I am curious. So your idea to create Circle really came from an observation early on in your career. Tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start the organization.
Yes, totally. So I grew up in New York, very close with my parents. I've always been really interested in talking to people with more experience than me. And when I was growing up, I saw both my parents get aged out of their careers. And, careers for all of us are a big part of identity and who we are. And so I saw them go through this and, they figured out, okay, I need to start my own business. And they did that from home. And by the time I was in college, both my parents were working from home on their own businesses. And when I got my first job, I was working at Vice Media, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. It's a youth media company.
Yeah.
And everyone that I worked with was probably within 5 years of my age, which was 22. And even my boss's boss was 35 years old. So there was a real limited pool of experience that I could tap into for my own career growth, or even just asking questions about, doing the job. Coming out of college, you only know so much, especially with a comparative literature degree. So for me, it was amazing because I had my parents there for me to give me advice about hard conversations with colleagues or asking for a raise, just the things that you have to learn on the job. And they had, decades of experience to share. And in return, I was in this sort of, ear to the ground environment where all the trends and new technology was coming to the fore. So I was kind of feeding them all the information I could to help them with their own businesses. And so that two-way exchange was really powerful for me. And I knew that my peers wanted that older person in their life too, to give them inspiration or just some guidance, to kind of give them the bigger picture perspective. And so I created Circle. And at the time, this is 2 years ago, at the time it was just an event series. It was like, let's bring together interesting people from different ages, put them in a room together. We'll have some cocktails. We'll have a speaker. We played the Circle game, which is, a way to facilitate smaller groups with different ages represented. And a year after doing that, things started to pick up. We got a New York Times feature and some interesting press. And then we introduced Circle Up, and that's really, it was really kind of a response to how people were coming to our events, but looking for maybe that one person that would really level up their career. And, I couldn't go around the event making matches in person. So this is our answer to that. And so we make monthly introductions that are hyper personalized and curated to help each person level up their career.
That's fantastic. I love that.
That's really, it's such a great concept because, it seems like we're always talking to different organizations where mentoring and being mentored, and it goes both ways. And I feel like that's what Circle is doing in a sense is, offering that mentor-mentee relationship, but again, in both ways, because I can be a mentor and the mentee. And I love that. It's such a great opportunity for people to get to know other people, and also withhold any isms that they have against a millennial or someone who is slightly older, a Gen Xer or a boomer. So it's, what has been the response with some of the folks that have been a part of this? And we're going to speak to two.
Yeah.
Yeah. What has been the response? Because it's male, female, it's women X, it's male X, it's everything.
Yeah, we're all inclusive. I think it's been amazing because we provide enough structure so that you can make of it what you want and what you need. So we're providing the person that you really need to meet and normally wouldn't cross paths with. And we give a lot of information about, what this person could teach you, what you could teach them. We give you the introduction email, like we kind of set it all up. And then we give you the freedom to tap into each other if you click. And if not, it doesn't matter. You're going to meet someone new the following month. And that kind of blend of networking and mentorship is really something that should be part of everyone's just habits. It's like a muscle that you flex. And our networks are naturally very homogenous. It's like our alumni circuits or, our friend group, our best friends. But the people who really change your life are on the outer circle, the people, who your acquaintances. And so we're trying to make that outer circle as powerful as possible and, eventually bring it into your inner circle.
What kind of events are these folks that are some of these people doing? And especially now in a virtual world. But so give us pre-COVID and now what they're doing to connect with one another. Give us just an example.
Yeah, so before COVID, we were facilitating in-person meetings in New York. And it was a bummer to tell people, oh, sorry, we're not outside of New York yet or whatever. But now people are meeting virtually, and we have people on 5 continents who are members. And so there are some amazing international connections being made. That's really what happened anywhere. Yeah, and it's great because I think everyone is getting used to the Zoom lifestyle, making a face-to-face meaningful connection despite the distance that we have. And sorry, I didn't really get to the real crux of your question, but about the impact that it's had. I think the beauty is that for some people, this becomes a more structured mentorship where they have like a standing meeting once a week to check in. And for some people, it's a lifelong friendship. It's someone that you can come to on a personal level. You can vent to them. They can tell you, I've been there. It's going to get hard, but then it's going to get easier. And the beauty is when it's a mix of two. And we find that the most powerful professional connections, that kind of mentorship that people are looking for, it usually requires like that personal trust first, that layer of understanding that person as a human, and then getting into their professional goals, whether they're older than you or younger than you.
Yeah. Well, I gotta admit, so I am test driving your kind of Circle Up program right now. And sadly, I had to reschedule the conversation that I was slated to have, I think it was like last Friday. But the pre-prep leading up to it has been impressive. Like, I love that, like you were saying, they're curated connections, because what I got was an actual like outline of like, hey, here's a little bit about her. Here's a little bit about why we picked you guys. Here's some questions to even have conversations about. Like, it's so thought out that I think it's beautiful, because I think we tend to want to have conversations with people that we have some things in common, or at least, that we feel like, oh, hey, what could we learn or what could we share, with each other. And so for you guys to kind of help create that connection between two people that would have never met or even have probably crossed paths, it's pretty phenomenal to kind of play that matchmaker almost role, So
yeah. Thank you.
That's really cool. So I'm curious too. So we just, there's obviously like 5 generations right now in the workplace, and we are big proponents of making sure to be open-minded. A lot of our women find themselves sometimes struggling to connect, with younger generations and older generations. A lot of us sadly carry labels as a result of the generation that we are born into. So I love your advice on how people can create a powerful or meaningful two-way communication with someone that maybe is 30, 25 years younger than them or older. so as to kind of create these opportunities to get to know them in a different light? What would you give someone who's at that point in time to that they could do?
Yeah, I think the kind of fear and intimidation about talking to someone who's older, older than you by 20 years or younger than you by 20 plus years, it goes both ways. And that's what I've heard. It's not, I'm obviously coming from the millennial perspective, and I know a lot of my peers are terrified of the executive in the office. But now that I've kind of got the step back and I've heard from different sides of the age spectrum, I realize that everyone really wants to connect and they want to understand. And people are giving, they love helping. And so if you kind of like just phrase it really simply, and I think the scariest part is probably reaching out, whether that's walking up to the desk or office or doing it over email. But once you get over the hump of just doing it and you ask like, would you ever be down to get a coffee or do a quick phone call if you're virtual now? You're going to get good responses. Like, people are willing to share their experiences. Everyone loves to talk about themselves. And so if you just want to hear like their perspective on something or your specific question, people are givers and they want to help. And I think just the simple connection on a human level is going to open up all the doors that you dream of when it comes to getting a recommendation or, advocating for you on a more professional level. It's really about that human connection.
Yeah. How beautiful. I love that. Well, so one final question before we introduce two amazing women that signed up for your organization and were strangers now turned amazing friends, colleagues, and so much more. I'm curious, you're turning, 30, right? Later this year?
In October, yeah.
October, baby!
I love it. So question. So what I love is, just even from hearing you speak right now, is your wisdom in understanding the value of every generation. Like, everybody sometimes feels like they get down on themselves about, oh, I'm too old, oh, I'm too young. And ageism is reversed. Like, it exists, but, too young, too old. And so I love, the wisdom and the insight that you bring to this conversation and just what your organization stands for. So I know you're 30, so I'm curious, like, for those in there, maybe that are graduating from college that, haven't had exposure to other generations yet in the workplace, for example, what would you like, what kind of advice would you give your younger self that maybe, some of our younger listeners tuning in could benefit from, or even some of our current Second Act women could say, hey, you know what, keep this in mind as I'm communicating with younger or older generations. What advice would you share for those of us kind of stuck in the middle trying to figure out how to have that conversation?
Yeah, I think, so in terms of talking to my younger self, I think I would suggest doing more of those informational meetings and interviews and in the normal world, getting coffee with someone, because what I've learned is that everyone actually has like a baseline level of communication that's the same. Like, everyone loves a face-to-face. Yes, maybe younger people like texting versus like a phone call, but the simplicity of a face-to-face meeting is super powerful. And I wish I had more of those meetings with people that were maybe a little bit outside of my comfort zone, a little bit too advanced in their career for what I thought I was allowed to reach out for. And that's really something I wish I had done, and I'm kind of making up for it now. And then in terms of, I know your community is Gen X, and Gen X is such an interesting generation, the sandwich generation. And so with our members, we see that Gen Xers love to meet people older than them and younger than them. And so I think a big piece of that is being equal parts listener and sharer. And, I'm sure everyone can relate to the experience of meeting someone and, not getting a word in edgewise. So I think, someone told me recently, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Oh, I know my business partner wants to remind me of that.
So listen twice as much as you speak.
Let's bring the others two in, Lupe. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah. So let us bring in, do you want to introduce, let's kick off.
Yeah. So we have Dr. Leslie Farstein, And Leslie is a psychotherapist specializing in women, body image, and trauma. You run a private practice in New York City. Most recently, she was the executive director of an amazing community, a nonprofit organization whose mission it is to expand the work and horizon of women 45 plus and to transform the narrative about aging, technology, and innovation. We welcome Dr. Leslie Fairstein. Farstein or Fairstein? Oh, let me take you up. There we go.
Everyone gets it wrong. It's not a problem.
Okay. And let's welcome your mentor, your partner in crime.
Yes, let's welcome Miss Kate Newman.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Kate is currently in the midst of a career change. After 8 years working in branded content and marketing, she is pursuing a new path in mental health. She will be starting her master's, yay, focused on clinical social work at New York University this fall. And in her spare time, Kate volunteers with Girls Right Now, a writing and mentoring program for high school girls. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Hi, thank you.
Cheers, everyone.
Happy birthday, Lupe. I wonder what.
I know, Lupe, we both have the cat.
Wonder Woman.
We've got two cat ladies and a superwoman. I love it.
I want that cup. That was one of my favorite shows in the 70s. Linda.
Isn't it? Oh, it's not Evans. What was it?
Oh my God,
I and the most recent film was Gal Gadot.
There you go. Yes.
Welcome to the conversation, ladies.
Yes.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us. We've obviously been talking to Charlotte and sharing with our community all the amazing things that she is doing with CIRKEL. And we wanted to bring on two women that from our last conversation, we understand probably would never have crossed paths had it not been for CIRKEL. So we're excited to kind of get a little bit about, tell us a little bit about like why you guys decided to join CIRKEL in the first place. Let's start with you, Kate.
Sure. So I've known Charlotte since we were for over 10 years now, I think. Yeah. Since we were freshmen in college. And so I was kind of following her along as she was thinking about this idea and starting it, and was very eager to join, not only because she is my friend, but also because I was kind of on the precipice of exploring this career change. So I was looking to learn from people who had experienced or gone through career shifts in their time too, and how they navigated that and how they kind of understood their priorities as they entered new fields, whether they were just going freelance for the first time or whether they were completely shifting what they were doing. So that was my intention when I was signing up.
Awesome. And you, Leslie?
First, it's Linda Carter.
There you go.
Carter.
Find the file. There's a lot of files up here. I wish I could delete some. But
That was going to kill me. Thank you, Linda Carter.
well, first of all, I see my age isn't up there, but I have 40 years on Kate and Charlotte. I'll be 70 next month. So
happy early birthday.
Thank you. And happy birthday again to you.
Hey.
I got involved when I was at Amazing Community, and somebody invited me to one of the events that Charlotte was holding on fashion. And it was the Prubal Garang's workshop and studio. And it was 3 generations. One woman who ran Teen Vogue, one woman who ran Allure, and somebody who's a friend of mine, Beth Ann Hardison, who was a model, one of the first Black models back in the 60s with Rudy Gernreich, I think she was with, and then started the first modeling agency for people of color. So I was invited, I know Beth Ann, and it was an amazing evening. It was really terrific. And I started going to some of the events, and then Charlotte started CIRKEL Up. So I'm like, I'm in. And then Kate and I were our first connection. So from the very first month that Charlotte was doing that. So I joined it because it sounded like fun. I'm a New Yorker. I'm open at meeting anybody. And so Kate and I met for a drink, and the rest is history. So
I'm curious, what have you two learned from each other and how long have you been, and I don't know, do you call them partners or what do you call them, Charlotte, in CIRKEL? Are they micro circles or
We're taking suggestions because I hate the word mentor. It comes with so much hierarchy built into it, you know, mentor, mentee.
Yeah.
We say everyone's a mentor, you know, in Circle Up, but we kind of use advisors or just like intros, and I don't know. We're working on a new name basically for what those are called.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm just curious how long you two have been together, and what have you been doing over the course of your relationship, your friendship?
It's been, we met in September, I think.
Yeah. Was that the first month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went for a drink 3 hours later, and we just started talking. And it was really, as I wrote to Charlotte afterwards, this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship for people who are old enough to know Casablanca.
Oh my gosh, how cool. So you instantly knew.
Yeah, it was like immediate. It was great. And then we just were talking, and Kate was talking about what she's looking to do in transitions. I was going to be leaving the amazing community to start to work on my own stuff on women, aging, and body image. And so we just supported each other. And then I heard, next thing I know, is Kate's making that career change. And she had said to me the first time, she goes, you know, I can help you redo your website. You know, I can do that for you. And I'm like, great. And so she's made a career change. I have an amazing website. I just said to her, go, you know, and I didn't see it, but it was done. And it's fantastic. So we're getting together socially. Kate and her partner came over for dinner, and we were supposed to get together again when lockdown happened.
Yeah.
So we moved to virtual happy hours. So that's what we've been doing in the last couple of months.
So
Kate, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. When I still remember very clearly the first meeting with Leslie, and you know, we sat down, and it was like no time was passed. It was just like we immediately got along. And at the time, I was still debating what exactly I wanted to do. So I knew that I was very interested in pursuing a path to become a therapist, but at the time, I didn't understand like which direction I wanted to take and what program I wanted to do. And just after talking with her and understanding all of the various things that she had done with a social work focus in particular, I remember leaving that meeting, and I think I was running late to a dinner with another friend, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm so immersed in this conversation, like I'm gonna be late to dinner.
It was a great first date.
Yeah, it was.
Exactly. It was out. You know.
Yeah. It just left very energized, and since then, you know, I was working on my applications, and as I was considering which program I wanted to attend, Leslie was just so helpful in kind of guiding me through those decisions. And then it's very nice to return that favor and expertise and kind of helping her launch this thought leadership platform.
That is just fantastic. Like just even listening to you two ladies speak, like I love how giggly you are about each other. Like I think that's so cool that you're like, I love, you know, it just was instant, and the fact that you've made just such a real connection, like a genuine connection that has now manifested into each other supporting, you know, each other through some really kind of cool new life stages that you're both
Mm-hmm.
But just this idea of now having a friend, accountability partner, mentor, mentee, or in your case, advisor, like you were saying, Charlotte, is phenomenal. And so I'm curious though, like before joining Circle, I'm curious like what your circle of friends, to use the word circle again, was like. Like, did you have, Kate, you know, many women in Gen X boomer kind of ages, or was it predominantly in your, you know, younger kind of age demo?
Yeah, I would say Circle definitely has expanded the generations within my inner circle, Charlotte likes to call it. I'm the oldest, and I always have enjoyed having older friends, but I would say that kind of ended in the older millennial leading into Gen X phase. But it's incredible to consider myself close friends with someone who's 40 years older than me and is not a relative of mine, right? It's like, it's just a totally different relationship. As close as I am to my aunts and uncles and grandparents and great aunts, it's just a different relationship that we share.
Yeah.
And you know what I love? I love the idea that you all have broken down the wall of not one of you, especially you two, have said, oh, she's like a mother figure to me. Oh, she's like a daughter figure to me. No, this is a friendship. It is possible to not think of people in the way just because they're 30, 20, 30, 40 years older or younger. It's not as if we're trying to raise a new child or you're looking for a mother figure or a dad figure. No, this is a true friendship.
Yeah.
And that's what I like that you're bringing to the table. It's not having foster parents or kids.
Yeah. My daughter just turned 40, so she's even older. Older than me. I'm not looking for another daughter.
I'm done.
Like, that's important. That's an important message to share with others.
That's a super powerful observation, Barb, because I think that's it. Like, we sometimes maybe feel like, you know, I just really like the basic, the idea of the conversation, like, and getting to know somebody, right? Like, not this idea of all of a sudden, you know, I need to, I can shed my biases, I can shed my labels, but really getting to genuinely know somebody is so powerful. And I think the more that we expand that between other generations, I think we'll soon understand that every generation has that, right? You can learn both ways, but you got to kind of you got to show be willing to really be real in that conversation, which you ladies obviously sound like you're doing as well too.
And I think you're right. I think it's more than just age. This is kind of a prototype for being able to talk to anybody and to really be quiet and to learn from other people and exchange ideas and across any barrier, anything that seems a barrier.
So let's talk about this point that this person made. Since we're having real conversation here, he or she says, I fear the older I get, the younger my boss is going to be. And with that fear often comes what we spoke of earlier, is the idea that we're not going to get along. The generations are, you know, I'm going to be pushed out by that older or by that younger boss because they're going to think I don't have the experience or that I'm too old for this job. The younger one may be feeling intimidated, so maybe that's why they may want, you know, and I don't know if all that is made up or not, but can we speak to that? How do you all feel about that?
I don't think it's made up.
A younger or older boss, yeah.
Well, but I think that the reality, and you know that from your organization, from my experience and being at Amazing Community, is that the reality is, as you get older, you are getting pushed out. You're not getting the jobs that you might have gotten when you were younger. So there's that reality in terms of, especially I think people who are in executive positions. But I think, again, it's like what we've been talking about and doing. You just start having to communicate. I think I've heard issues with women who are older and their bosses and the other people in the office are younger, and they expect the other person to be able to do things like go on, hiking trips and things that the person may not be able to do. But I think, again, it's around communication. Yes. And when you see each other as people, not as ages or generations, that helps. And maybe it takes bringing a consultant into the organization to work on that issue with the staff.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're trying to help that problem and launch some B2B services. So if anyone's interested. But yeah, it's an interesting time. It's like age does not correlate with seniority anymore. It's not like it used to be. And with the pace of change and new developments, like new technologies coming out all the time, it's very easy to feel irrelevant. TikTok, I don't know really how to use TikTok. Like suddenly that's something people have to know in the marketing world. So I think regardless of how old your boss is, or if they're younger than you or older than you, it should be a constant conversation of how can we help each other? What can I teach you? What can you share with me? Let's be human. Let's not do this whole, like, you're my boss and I'm going to, build this wall between us.
Yes.
No, I think the human comment is spot on, especially for times that we're in right now, just to be able to listen and truly take in somebody for their gifts, their ideas, their perspectives. And it's not like that you have to agree with them or that because I know, Katie, you guys mentioned that you have gone on other circle endeavors that haven't worked out. And that's okay too, right? But it's this idea that you can still show up. You can give the person the courtesy to listen, to hear. And if it works out, great. But if it doesn't work out, then that's okay too, right? I mean, Kate, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I would also make a quick comment on the age thing, because it's also a reason I was not really as interested in pursuing the field that I was in. I saw so many talented mentors that I had had in my career being pushed out in their 40s and 50s and not being able to find a job that was requisite with their experience. And I wanted to, enter a path that valued the wisdom that comes with actually spending a lot of time on something. But at the same time, I think that we need to shift away from viewing work as this hierarchical structure, because as you get older, you may not have expertise in some things that are relevant. Like Charlotte said, TikTok is, I'm almost 30 and I also don't understand it. Maybe you need you need to bring in a Gen Z expert for that, but the older person may be able to help create a better team culture. And you still very much need that experience in leadership too. So there's some reevaluating that needs to happen. But on meeting the matches, I wouldn't say none of them worked out. I think that it's just a different relationship.
Yeah.
And some people, may end up as like a LinkedIn connection that may turn into something down the line. And then other people turn into a longer term friendship. But in general, having these conversations in a setting that isn't strictly professional and isn't strictly personal, it's just kind of creating this third space that we don't often get to experience.
Yeah. That is fantastic. Well, ladies, I'm excited. Well, first of all, I'm excited that you were both starting a new chapter in your lives. You're going to have to definitely keep in touch with us and let us know, both of your new ventures pan out, because I'd love to just keep in touch. And Charlotte, thank you so much for starting this amazing organization, for having the foresight to recognize the importance of keeping dialogue open and the power that that it can bring to the table when you just show up and you listen to someone for genuinely who they are, leaving labels aside, all biases aside, just showing up and having a real genuine conversation. I think that's such a beautiful gift to your community and to our community for coming on our show and talking a little bit about it. So thank you so much, ladies. Have a beautiful day.
Hey, before they leave, I would love for Charlotte to share how we can find you, how folks can learn more about CIRKEL, CIRKEL. Tell us a little bit about how they can find out more about you.
Yes, I would love for members of the Second Act Women community to join. The website is cirkel.world, CIRKEL.world. And we're doing a 3-month free offering. So if you go to the Circle Up section of the website, you'll just be able to fill out that application so we can get to know you better. And we also do an onboarding little interview to get the full picture. So so go to the cirkel.world website and Circle Up section and use Together Apart for 3 months free.
Awesome.
Love it. Love it.
Awesome. Thank you so much and have a great cirkel.world.
Yes, I just figured that out.
I'll fix it and put it on the Facebook. Thanks again, ladies. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Awesome. Girl, I love that. Whatever happened to just good old-fashioned conversations, right? Like whether virtually or, well, now more so than having them in person, but this idea of like you can learn so much about someone when you just bother to just ask. And
yeah.
I love the whole 2 ears, 1 mouth thing too. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh my gosh, I know. Holy crap. I can think of so many people in it. Yeah. I love that as well. They were such a wonderful concept. And and to think that this is only 2 years old, less than 2 years old, and how she's already gained such success and recognition, even having had an article in the New York Times. That's spectacular. But that also proves the importance of bringing intergenerational teams and people together, whether it's in our daily lives or also in our careers. It's vital. And I know that you and I love having, we love Taylor and Sheena and, the millennial and Sheena's in between. She's that 4-year, whatever.
I think it's Daniel.
Yeah. But there's nothing better than to have the talents of various, of various people within your corporation or in your lives. The things that we learn are just spectacular. So let's go into, as we close out our day, our morning. Hello. I thank those ladies for coming on. And listen, so what's happening with SecondActWomen? We have several things coming up. We've already talked about this LiveCon. We can't wait to have you join us on Friday, July 17th. It's going to be really exciting. I'm really thrilled about what we have in store for you, ladies and gents. Should you choose to attend, I want to say thank you to Meta Media and Workability and Drybar, who's donating. Drybar, who's donating prizes, because we will have prizes throughout the day.
And Easy Register too.
Easy Register. Oh my gosh, I love Sean at Easy Register. So we have that coming up. But next week we have a friend and insider member, Jamie Dander, with Empower Hour, cashing in on confidence. We spoke about this at the top of the hour, and I think this is going to be an impactful program that she is bringing to us. That's Wednesday, June 24th at 2 p.m. You can register at SecondActWomen.com. Just go to the events page there. Obviously, it's a Zoomer. We're going to be doing that on Zoom. We love Zoom. Also, Lupe and I, the following day I get tickles in my nose. I don't know why. I'm always like, it seems like I'm on, like when you go to the dentist, doesn't it seem like when they're in your mouth, all of a sudden your nose and everything is tickling? I feel like that when I go on air sometimes.
This is your school moment right now.
Though, we're so excited that Hannah and Adele, the general manager, Adele at General Assembly, it's a global organization. Locally, they have asked us to speak. Originally, it was going to be in person at Industry / General Assembly. And I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about how to change careers after 40. We've got some really great tips, tricks, and hacks to do so. And we're going to dive deep into that. That's going to be next Thursday, the 25th at 5 p.m. And I'm pretty excited about that because we have over 100 RSVPs from around the United States. So we hope you can join us as well if you're looking to swivel career, or change it up. And then lastly, just for those of you that thought it was too late to apply to Denver Startup Week, it is not.
Amen, right?
I know we were working on it at the last minute yesterday. It was due yesterday. However, thanks to the folks at Denver Startup Week, the virtual largest conference of its kind for entrepreneurs in the world. Traditionally, they have nearly 20,000 people that come into Denver from around the globe to enjoy this conference. It will be virtual. You now have time to apply or submit your topic. You have until next Friday, the 26th. So know that because we're applying, and you should too. We've got a really great idea. We're bringing in Chief Factor. What is the other one that we spoke with?
Createless. Reboot Excel. We're talking about how some of these amazing communities are popping up to serve and support us in our second act.
Yes. So that's our submission. And Lupe, in closing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for another edition of the Morning Cup. If you have any topics you'd love for us to cover, please send an email over to hello@secondactwomen.com. That is the reason why we connected with Charlotte and her amazing group of women through Katie Keating out in New York. So we're always looking for awesome ideas, so please share away. If you can join our newsletter, you can head over to secondactwomen.com to get our Tuesday dose of amazingness delivered directly to your email. Otherwise, we hope you have a fantastic weekend and tune in next Thursday. We'd love to see you again. All right.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone.